Hello, everyone. Amanda Williams here with you again today. I have a really interesting formulation that I want to discuss with you. I am very much into keeping your guard up during this time. As I mentioned, I'm here in Florida. We had 14,000 new cases today of COVID 19. I understand it's the summer and people feel like, how can there be this horrible virus going around? But it is. So you have to take it serious. And one of the best things that you can do is make sure that you are staying on top of your immune defenses. So we know the main things that we need to be doing. We need to be getting proper hydration. We need to get proper rest. That's very, very key. If you're not getting adequate sleep, that's an area that you certainly need to work on because that's when the body repairs itself. So if we want to have a strong immune system, we definitely have to make sure that we maintain good sleep. But the other things are zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. So we have this brand new formulation called Immunity HX, and it is just those three nutrients. And how easy is that? Just one simple capsule, and it is yielding you 30 milligrams of zinc, 2,000 IUs of vitamin D3, along with 500 milligrams of vitamin C. Why are those so incredibly important when it comes to the immune system? Well, we can just look at just basic cellular health and we can understand the way that the body reacts to different foreign invaders. Well, our immune system is highly reliant on vitamins and minerals. So, if we are lacking vitamins and minerals, because we're not getting them from our diet, for example, then we have to make sure that we are supplementing with them. During this time, being that we know that there is this horrible virus that is out there and highly transmissible, we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to maintain our immune defenses. So, the way that you can achieve that is making sure that we are maintaining good, healthy levels of zinc, vitamin C, as well as vitamin D. So, both the innate and the adaptive immune system are reliant on those nutrients, along with many other nutrients. That's why when you look at something like selenium or magnesium, we know that the immune system requires those. But specifically, we definitely know that if we are lacking in vitamin D and vitamin C, that's going to be problematic. We also know that zinc is incredibly critical. Now, when we look statistically as to why someone would want to supplement with something such as Immunity HX, it's very simple. If we look at the worldwide population and we look at vitamin D deficiencies, it's enormous. Now, a lot of times people may not have actual vitamin D deficiency, but when it comes to vitamin D insufficiency, this is rampant, especially here in the United States. I mean, we can estimate that a good 50%, and that's at the low end, 50% of the US population can have vitamin D insufficiency. And so, what does that actually mean? What is the difference between vitamin D deficiency and vitamin D insufficiency? Well, if you were to have your serum blood level tested, which is the 25 hydroxy vitamin D3 test, if you had that test done and it comes back and you're showing that you have 30 and below, then we consider that to be in the insufficient range. Now, once we drop down into the teens, now we are considered to be deficient in vitamin D. I always give this example. It's like having $1 in the bank or $100 in the bank. Most people would probably sign up to say, I'll take the $100 in the bank as opposed to $1. That's the way that you want to look at your serum vitamin D levels. You would rather have higher vitamin D levels when it comes to your blood test than have low levels. Why? Because we know we need to have vitamin D for so many different functions in the body. Vitamin D is technically a hormone, so there's receptors throughout the body. So when we think about cardiovascular health, brain health, this is a huge one. They've even looked at low levels of vitamin D and connecting that to different neurological disorders, including on the autism spectrum. So these are things that you have to make sure that you pay attention to. Vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. So we know it plays a critical role in many different functions, but when it comes to the immune system, it is highly, highly important. And we know this just by looking at clinical research trials where people who have autoimmune conditions have low levels of serum vitamin D. Now, I know people hear it all the time. They poo poo down vitamin D, or they say, oh, just go out into the sun and you'll get enough that way. No, it's just that's not the case. I'm here in Florida. I've looked at enough serum vitamin D blood test results to recognize that most people are not obtaining enough vitamin D from the sun alone. There's many different factors as to why. We can look at the use of sunscreen. That's going to block the proper absorption of vitamin D. We can look at if you have a genetic correlation as to why your body doesn't absorb vitamin D properly. And this is common. So you can actually do a genetic test to see if your vitamin D receptors are really not so great, meaning you may need to supplement with even higher amounts of vitamin D. So many different reasons as to why people can be poor absorbers. So we know that vitamin D insufficiency is really prevalent. I always kind of default back to some of the sports studies that were done with vitamin D. And they did a study many years ago with the New York Giants. And they took a good um, chunk of the Giants players. And what they did is they tested their vitamin D levels. And come to find out, a lot of them were not only deficient, but many of them were insufficient. So they said, maybe we need to make sure these guys are supplementing with vitamin D. Well, it makes sense. And you would think, well, what does it matter, for football players? And who cares if their vitamin D is a little bit low? Well, this is a key. If you have low vitamin D, it's going to take longer for muscle strains, sprains to recover and heal, as well as we also know the lowered immune defenses. So as you're traveling, so you have an NFL player who's traveling from one city to the next, obviously you're more prone, just from travels and lack of sleep, all these different things that can lower the immune system. So they've done this in NHL players, they've looked at college basketball teams and looked at their serum vitamin D levels. This is something that everyone should be having tested every single year when you go in for your annual physical. Why doctors don't test it, I don't know. But definitely request it because it's going to give you an idea as to, are you supplementing with enough vitamin D? Are you going to require more? Now, when it comes to zinc, this is just another one of these kind of disasters that we've created. There are so many people who are insufficient in zinc as well. So we look at magnesium deficiencies, it's like 70% of the US population. Horrible. We look at vitamin D insufficiencies, at least 50%. In certain populations, it's even greater than that. We look at zinc insufficiencies, not deficiency, but insufficient, meaning you're lacking. We're down at that dollar in the bank as opposed to the $100. So if we have low zinc, this is problematic once again for the immune defenses, but also for other functions such as thyroid function, such as eye health. So there's so many ways in which zinc needs and is required to be utilized in order just for proper function of so many different pathways. So this is what is so nice about the Immunity HX formulation. Just by taking one of these a day, you're going to be getting 30 milligrams of zinc, along with that 2,000 IUs of vitamin D. And to kick it all off, we have that vitamin C in there too, because we know the importance of vitamin C. Vitamin C is certainly utilized throughout the body, talking about eye health. Again, it's definitely beneficial when it comes to fending off oxidative stress, but also when we look at that innate and the adaptive immune system are reliant once again on these key vitamins and minerals. So we know all the statistics. We know that there are numerous Americans out there who are lacking just the basic nutrients that the immune system requires. And we are sitting here in a time of this absolutely astronomical pandemic that is just taking over certain sections of this country and will continue to do that because we are not doing a good enough job in terms of trying to control that spread. So I want to definitely stress that part of it. I'm here in Florida. I see what's happening and what is not happening. It is a really, really unfortunate thing. I know people who have succumbed to COVID 19. This is something that we can try our best to strengthen our immune systems and practice proper social distancing. These are not difficult things. Wear a mask when you're out in public. I just want to stress these. things. I have a master's degree in public health, so I have an MD and an MPH. So this is kind of in my wheelhouse. And I just want people to be healthy. I want people to be educated and understand what you can be doing to support your immune defenses during this time. So don't let your guard down. Go to invitehealth.com, check out the Immunity HX wonderful formulation, one simple capsule a day, giving you those three key nutrients to help to support your immune system. So I will be back with you in a few more days talking about more wonderful formulations. Thank you so very much.